Having moved to Canada 2 years ago, I discovered a trend that shocked me. Unfortunately, I observed that many people in the West, in Western Europe, in the United States and here in Canada, completely lack an understanding of what modern Russia truly represents.
I think that people are just ridiculous that they think that Putin's such this enemy. He isn't doing anything. He just wants back what was his.
But he invaded
What was his.
He invaded Ukraine,
That's fine.
killing thousands of people.
That's fine. That's fine with me.
A significant portion of society still believes that Russia is merely a political opponent of the West. People think it's just a country with different political views, a different philosophy, and a different worldview, which they see as legitimate.
Does Russian aggression concern you that they could? Why not?
Because I watched Tucker Carlson's interview. Putin don't really want to do anything. You know, I think that's old news. I don't really think that he wants to do anything.
Do you think that Russia has ill intent towards the United States?
I don't. No, I don't. After watching the interview with Tucker Carlson, I do not.
They perceive everything is happening as political disagreements or conflicts between high-ranking politicians, issues that can be resolved at the negotiation table and that have no bearing on ordinary people.
Our first look at the first greeting between President Trump and President Putin, a handshake and pat on the back.
To my horror, I see that many people fail to understand that this is not politics. This is war, a war of aggression. Politics ended in February 2022 when Russia unleashed the bloodiest war in Europe since World War II, when Russia began the genocide of Ukrainians simply because they are Ukrainian, when Russia committed hundreds of war crimes as documented by numerous international organizations, when, due to Russia's actions, over 1 million people have died on both sides, both civilians and military. To my horror, I sometimes see that some people in the West claim to understand Russia, sympathize with Russia, and some even support Russia.
I don't think Putin's a problem. I think Zelensky's the problem.
Why do you think Putin's not the problem? He's the one that invaded Ukraine and has killed thousands of people.
Because Putin is trying to save his country from the likes of idiots like Zelensky and the elitists.
You know, this administration is trying to start a war with Russia. Russia's not our enemy.
You know our President Vladimir Putin, right? Yeah. What do you think about him?
I think he cares about your country more than others, and we need a president that will care about our country more than others.
Would you say that Putin is any threat to the world or not?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay. If you were to choose Trump or Putin, what do you think? What would be the choice for you?
I would choose Putin.
Putin.
I'll go with Putin.
Go with Putin?
Yeah, just because it's not Trump.
Got it.
I would go with Putin, I guess.
Yeah, me too.
We've seen this all before in history. 85 years ago, there were already proponents of isolationism and non-intervention. There were those who opposed war and argued that instead of fighting Hitler, one should negotiate and seek compromises.
Another war, not for me. This time America should keep out, and I know I will. If war breaks out in Europe, I think that this country should heed the advice of its first president and avoid all foreign entanglements. In the event of war in Europe, I think we should stay out of it entirely. And all our efforts should be made to keep out of the fight. Let Europe fight our own battles. They mean nothing to us. We should mind our own business. By all means, no.
Well, the world subsequently learned what would have happened if they had tried to negotiate with Hitler instead of defeating him. In the 1940s, the world received an effective vaccine against fascism. Unfortunately, 8 years later, the efficacy of this vaccine has expired, and it seems the world will need a booster shot to remember what fascism is. This time, it's Russian fascism. For 80 peaceful years since World War II, the prosperous, hedonistic Western world has forgotten the horrors of war, slaughter and bombings. It has forgotten what genocide looks like. It has lost its understanding of pure, absolute, unadulterated evil. I do not wish for the Western world to be reminded of the nature of fascism by a savage, bloodthirsty Russian horde invading European cities, murdering and raping women and children, as they are doing now in Ukraine. I don't want Europeans and Americans to remember this on the nuclear ruins of their cities. Therefore, I consider it my duty to expose the true nature of Russian fascism, also known as Russism. Every problem is more complex than it initially appears. Any problem, conflict, or confrontation typically involves more than just black and white. There are usually many shades of gray. We normally strive to understand, or at least listen to, all sides of a conflict, and we try to find a compromise. But not this time. In this instance, we are dealing with pure distilled evil, an evil that seeks to destroy this civilization and impose its barbaric order and drag us back to the Dark Ages. This evil is known as Putin's Russia. I'm Russian. I was born, raised and lived in Russia for 30 years. I was 16 when Putin came to power, and now I am 41. I worked as a journalist there for many years. I know this country inside out. I understand its essence and its nature. I've seen firsthand the dark side of this country. Therefore, I feel a duty to reveal the true face of Russia, not the image it wants to project, not the false picture it paints through propaganda, but the real, unvarnished Russia. The Russia that brings war, chaos, death and genocide. The Russia that believes that Russians are superior to other nations. The Russia that feels entitled to invade other countries and impose its dictatorial order, which they call the Russian world. The Russia that is an enemy of the civilized world, an enemy of all free people, and my personal enemy. My name is Serge Kuropov, and on this channel we talk about the real, authentic Russia. The Russia I have not only seen with my own eyes, but was a citizen of for many years. Formally, I remain a citizen to this day. The videos you will see on this channel serve as a warning to the Western world, to all of you, Europeans, Americans, Canadians, Japanese, South Koreans, Australians, and citizens of other free civilized nations. This is a warning about what could happen to your civilization, your way of life, and ultimately to you personally, your families and your children, if the Russian fascist horde achieves its goals. Don't forget to like and share this video. Leave a comment below with any questions or topic suggestions you have for future videos. I read every single comment, so your feedback is really important to me. I'll create future videos based on your requests. The Russian About Russia channel is completely independent. I do not represent any media outlets, political organizations or social groups. I have no sponsors and receive no grants. This independence allows me to be completely free in my opinions and not to conform to any editorial policy or any kind of authority. Therefore, this channel only possible because of your support. If you believe that what I'm doing is important, and if you want the Russian About Russia channel to continue, please support me. There are many ways to do this. You can find the links in the description of this and other videos, or by following the link in this QR code. Also, subscribe to my social media and WordPress blog, where you can not only watch but also read my content. Thank you for your support, glory to Ukraine, and remember, fascism cannot be negotiated with, it can only be defeated through our combined efforts.